Hi everyone. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about sleep. Sleep is something that we hear a lot. We hear that it's very important and we need to get better sleep, but we don't necessarily know the reasons why, other than low energy or feeling a bit tired. But there's a lot of things that sleep does within our body that can make a really big difference with our overall health. So I wanted to talk about a few of those things today, just so that you can understand why sleep is so important. We see a lot of over-the-counter sleep aids, more and more coming out, more commercials on, take this to help you sleep at night. And the biggest problem with that is that although that might knock you out, it's natural sleep that your body needs to be able to optimize its function and do some of the things that we're going to talk about. So the number one thing that I see with patients with respect to lack of sleep is increased pain or a lower pain threshold. So they can be in a lot more pain if they haven't had sleep. And people that report poor sleep quality or insomnia are at much higher risk of developing persistent or chronic pain. And then this sort of becomes a vicious cycle. So they're not sleeping, so they have more pain, and they have more pain and they're not sleeping. This can result in use of opioids or other pain medications. And studies have shown that patients that have chronic pain and use opioids, they actually report worsening of sleep quality and increased risk of sleep apnea. So that further reduces, the sleep that you're going to get if you're taking opioids. The other thing that sleep is really important for is regulation of blood sugar and for your metabolism. So if you're not getting good sleep, that's going to affect the way that your body processes sugars and how your metabolism works. This can contribute to obesity and insulin resistance, diabetes, these types of things. There was a study done where they took young, healthy, college-age participants, and they deprived them of sleep, 4 hours or less for a few days. And at the end of that time, their blood profiles resembled that of an older adult who had insulin resistance or diabetes. So that's a huge problem. And that's only over a matter of a few days, not, weeks or months at a time. The other thing that sleep is really important for is your immune function. So a lack of sleep is going to reduce your body's ability to fight infection. It's going to reduce healing times. It's going to put you at greater risk of injury. People that consistently sleep 5 hours or less per night are 4.5 times more likely to catch a cold or some other virus. So that's something that's really important as we have the flu and colds and whatnot floating around this season. I just got through a few weeks of sick kids, so it was, not only were they sick, but I wasn't getting sleep because I was taking care of them. So that puts me at further risk of catching what they have. The other thing I think people are most aware of with sleep is that a lack of sleep is going to reduce your focus and your attention, your ability to attend to complex matters. So that could be problem solving, learning a new skill. It could be something as simple as sticking to a diet or exercise plan because you're just don't have that mental focus and concentration. Along those lines, it can worsen depression or anxiety symptoms, or over a period of time, increase your risk of developing depression and anxiety. So sleep does a lot of really important regulatory functions in our body. And like I said at the top of this video, it needs to be natural sleep. So sleeping pills may knock you out and great, you feel like, okay, you're not aware that you were up all night long or having difficulty falling asleep at night, but really you're not getting that regeneration that your body needs if it's through artificial means. And I think the biggest problem with lack of sleep is our bodies are genius at adapting. So what happens is after we've gone so long without sleep, think of it when if you've got kids when they were babies, and when the first few nights are awful because you're up all night, but after a while you're still tired, but you kind of get used to it, and your body learns how to function on less sleep. You're functioning and you get used to that baseline, so you think this is normal. You no longer feel the same level of low energy or lack of focus or fatigue that you would have felt initially. So you start to believe this is your new normal, and you start telling people like, hey, I only need 5 hours and I'm good. That's actually not the case. You just feel like that's your baseline, and you may not notice your lack of attention, your lack of focus, your lack of concentration. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that a lot of people don't even realize that they're in a sleep debt. We're going to have these times in our lives where we have sick kids, we got a stressful time at work, we got a big project coming up, lots on our mind, our hamster wheels are spinning as we lay there staring at the ceiling at night. That's going to happen in life. That's normal to have those ups and downs. But so what you need to do on a regular basis is get yourself a good base so that when you have those times in your life where you're going to be sleeping less, recovering from an injury, an illness, a surgery, what have you, you kind of have that buffer zone. So of course the lack of sleep is going to affect you, but it's not going to throw you way back. If you're already starting with a sleep debt and then you've got one of these incidents that's limiting your sleep, that's going to, exponentially worsen the effects that a lack of sleep may have on you. So I know that sounds a little doom and gloom, but I really think it's important to understand why we're doing something. So if you're going to try and change your sleep habits, and get more sleep, you need to know why you're doing it and why it's really important. It's not just so you don't feel tired the next day. There's all these other health consequences of having a lack of sleep. So stay tuned over the next, the remainder of the month, the next coming days and weeks, for some more tips and tricks on how you can improve your sleep or get that natural sleep that your body needs. In the meantime, like and share this post and follow the page so that you don't miss any of the other information.